everybody. Welcome back to the Cult of Belial channel. I am here with Anton and Sander, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Belial and a little bit about pacts and pathworking. So I would like to start with Anton. Go ahead and take it away.
So today I wanted to speak upon his Flaming Chariot pathworking, which is a PDF that we have in the group in the pinned section. A link in the group will be in the description, of course, but this includes 4 very well-known aspects of Belial to help transform your life first internally, then externally. Internally via shadow work. Now, the 2 main aspects I wanted to speak of that is in this PDF and pathworking, which is completely for free, as directed to me by Belial to do, is the worthless one, which can also be translated to the masterless one. Now, this aspect has an extreme tower card sort of energy. When you work with this aspect and go through shadow work with this aspect, you will encounter your life crumbling around you, mentally, physically, monetary, abundance-wise, however it will manifest. And this will bring about a feeling of worthlessness. But as I was told during this duration of this path working with this aspect, is when you are in a state of worthlessness, you will see that only you can give yourself value and worth through your actions, through your thoughts, through your emotions, etc. And through this comes unlimited power and potential that you place upon yourself. You are giving yourself worth when no one else can, and no one else should be able to give you worth except for yourself. This is the first step to becoming king of your reality, ruling over your reality and becoming masterless in all aspects. Now, the lawless aspect, which is quite similar to the worthless or the masterless aspects, teaches you to first, in order, be lawless to all the oppressive systems around you, all the dogmatic systems around you, anything that wishes to rule or have authority over you, is to first be lawless to yourself, your own urges. If you are an addict, you must become lawless to this urge, this addiction. And with that said, once you can become lawless over the things that rule you internally and do not serve you internally, you can become lawless to everything that is around you. Once you go through these shadow working periods and internal transformation periods with these aspects, you will be brought to the true teaching and the true abilities of these aspects. The lawless aspect, one, invisibility in all aspects of life and ends of life. So you can move around if you are doing certain operations without being noticed. And the worthless aspect can also break someone down and bring them to the same level of worthlessness. That's pretty much all I have to say about that path working, but it's an excellent path working. I do recommend everyone checks it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I just have a couple questions. One of the first things he said is transformation begins internally and then starts to manifest externally. Now, from my own experience, I've noticed that these transformations, when they happen, right, it does all begin internally, right? And then it sort of branches out. It's almost like this energy starts here and then starts affecting the world around you. Would you say that that's correct?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And I find that they do this shadow working period not only to teach us about ourselves and to gain power over ourselves, but as tests. If one cannot go through the shadow working period without being consumed by their own shadow, they will not hand the power to curse someone, to gain money, to do all these things to someone and teach them how to do these things, because it's like handing a child a bazooka.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. So this is like it's almost like a rebirth process, right? You're gonna be I don't want to say completely different, but in a way that I can't really find the words to explain it otherwise. Well, like you're gonna feel like you're the same person, but you will part of you is gonna be forever changed, right? So that's really awesome stuff. I know I checked out the PDF, and I'm doing some path working right now. But I do think it's beneficial, especially if you don't know exactly how to go about path working. This is an excellent uh, way to start, especially if you've never worked with the king. Um, I would recommend it 100%. Now, Sander, I think we're going to go ahead and start with you next. Sander, if you want to share some experiences on the king and anything else that you'd like to talk about, you have the floor.
Well, this should have to go back to the beginning. First initiation. What will happen basically if selected and chosen? For not everybody is chosen. Okay, many have desires, many wish to be attuned to something, but most people are not aware of themselves, unfortunately. So we cannot simply assume that any current is for anybody. There are different attributes, different attunements to everyone. So you can apply for any job that is out there, in essence, if we were to use this as an example. But that doesn't mean that every company will hire you. You can only keep trying until you find the one that is suitable for you, which shall be the one that will accept you according to what it is that you are capable to bring forth within this particular environment. So, let us say you are one of those who are able to enter the Daathic current, which will require a certain amount of attributes, of course, which may vary. They are very vast. Usually, a good attunement of this current would be going through past hardships within your life, something that would be related to a negative aspect of yourself, a negative experience, a particular environment that you experienced where negativity was present. Let's say you were an ex-military personnel, like some would be. This means you will have good attunements to the energies of Mars, the energies of the Black Sun at the same time, and believe it or not, the energies of Earth as well, for the environment that you live in corresponds to all three. Negative as they might be, at the same time, they're extremely necessary for transformation. So what will happen is you shall be approached by the king at that stage in the astral, and you shall see your astral self in him. He tends to take a human form to approach the so-called new initiates. He has many, many forms of many, many aspects, which one is to see later down the line, of course, but always a general human form, which one is to be approached upon. And that is the one you will be dealing with more often. And as time goes by, through experience, you will know that it is him who is coming to you, even though you are seeing a different person or a different being altogether, or still him with different kind of outfits or what have you, different sizes, different aspects and appearances of all sorts. Because there are multiple spirits who tend to adopt a specific form, like Lord Lucifer tends to usually have a very common, known form, a human, which he appears to most people, and they are ready to recognize him through this form. The thing with King Belial is he does not adopt a generic form to everyone, simply because he does not wish to be labeled or acknowledged by the global community of mankind. He wishes to be individual for everyone, so everyone can connect with him in their own attributes and ways. So you can never really put a face on Belial or how he looks like or who he is. There are other spirits which actually favor this method. They want to have a face. They want to be known as this particular image. He doesn't do that. So if he is to approach you, he will come to you and he will speak to you very shortly. And he will give you a number of days, which can vary. It can be anything between 3, 6, or 9 days, where he will tell you that he shall visit you again. And in this time, you shall enter every time you go to bed for a number of months in sleep state tests, which will be conducted in his kingdom. Now, these tests will vary from person to person, and they will be nothing but a projection of your mind as to how you would respond to these particular situations which he will give you. You may end up having to fight someone who may try to rob you, for example, so you'd have to choose between fight or flee. Simple tasks like these, which are, of course, not physical, but taking part in the astral. We will be in his world, of course. He and Astaroth and many other spirits, of course, have these parts within their kingdoms, which act kind of like training camps, if you may call them this way. It's literally like a drill instructor putting you within these camps. And each and every time you enter these planes, you will have to go through these tests. And your results will be basically what will define your path later on. These spirits and the path of the dark arts and the left side. So, in general, it's mostly a mental aspect of things. They will test everything: how you act under pressure, how you act under trickery, how you act under flattery, under the energies of love or compassion, what have you. Everything shall be tested. So after this, he will start being closer to you. He will start manifesting probably into your living space to get to know you, to see your routine. He will follow you around daily. He favors heavily those who engage in physical exercises or in physical contact sports. It should become a second nature that you will be visited in these spaces if you are working closely with him, and he will manifest through you very, very deeply when you do so. You will notice that your look may change, your eyes will have a different um look on them for people that see you, and you will literally begin to change your body's composition to growing bigger within seconds. We are talking about it starts usually from the chest, and your neck will actually grow, and then it will start moving to the rest of the body. It is literally within seconds, a gradual. It's pretty crazy how it happens. Now, the biggest benefits that I could personally say you can achieve, or you can uh, take upon you from this particular path working when you start working with Belial, who is an aspect of earth energy, heavily earthly. He will give you the attributes of the earth energy, which means that if you were a slightly immature person before, could be mainly because of age, as most of humanity is, he will put that maturity within you, earth grounding energy. You will need it in order to proceed in life and to become a 101 complete version of yourself. We're talking about no longer be guessing or hoping for the best. Know what it is to do. You will be a leader where you need to be. You will attune to your skills, which, if they are powerful enough before, they shall become even more powerful later. So that's basically the biggest of blessings he can give you. Uh, um, Now we're talking about um, working in a setting can somewhat help with your career and moving from place from different companies if you wish to do so. But it will most likely happen in a negative way, but not you will not be able, of course, to continue with your area. But will not be a pleasant experience either. But nevertheless, you should maintain your course where it needs to be. And of course, the crossings will be actually to path, a kingdom, are extremely powerful. Uh, dark alchemy and knowledge that he will give you, his black book, runic knowledge. He has thousands of aspects of knowledge he can give you, but it will take years of close cooperation. Eventually, once you're in an advanced stage, the best thing you can do is to make a formal pact to solidify things, both with him and suggest to combine with Lucifer, as they work extremely close to each other. And these two counterparts will be the most beneficial for some path and person to go, because where one is, the other one will always follow when it comes to energies and correlations. Spirits will always jump in and out of your life and your path. So, in the end, when you reach the path stage, you will have to conduct a formal agreement in order to push things to the next level, which of course can only be beneficial to you. It does not have to be for the duration of your entire life, and it does not have to go into next life stuff. It can only be for a number of years, which is handy and the safest way, in my opinion. And it exactly where you need to be in your personal life goals and your alchemical path as well.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. That's a fuck ton of knowledge, Sander. So I got
Beautifully said.
uh, you know, pain is the price of admission, right? So when you're working with an entity like Belial, a lot of times it's not going to be easy. You're going to experience that. Your shadow is going to be shown to you, right? But I have to go through that experience, incredible amount of, and Belial literally embodied like, like better being with the master, being with the we talked about being chosen, being selected. Now, how does one this path know if by Belial or not?
Well, I would say that if one has Belial present himself to you, that would mean that you have been chosen to do a path working with him. With me personally, I summoned him within my first year of being in the occult, and he rejected me because I felt his presence, even though my astral ears were not open as enough as they are now. But he rejected me because I could not handle what he was ready to bring into my life. And then 3 years down the track, he comes to me through another occultist, and we did great work together, and that sort of skyrocketed and started the foundation to my relationship with Belial. So that is what I would have to say to that question of how to find out if you're chosen. Simply either present yourself to the spirit, and the spirit goes, "You are not ready. You are not ready," and it will come to you when you are ready in time.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. Another thing too was Belial does seem to be heavily interested in bodily training. I know some of my friends, they were introduced to Belial through me actually. And one thing that he is hammering home was quit smoking cigarettes and start treating your body like the temple that it is, right? I know when I first started working with him, he did not want me, he wanted me to get off of medications that he saw did not serve a very good purpose. It was a crutch for me, right? And from working with him, I was able to be completely released from that. Um, that was one of the main benefits I've had from working with Belial. Um, and I think a couple questions I want to ask you guys would be when somebody is accepted into Belial's current, when somebody does start working with him, what are some offerings that you guys have found that the king likes? I know personally, I know he likes blood, and I know he likes altars dedicated to him. So if you guys want to share some offerings that he likes, go ahead. Either one of you guys can jump in.
The offerings I find he likes his blood, as you said. Certain incenses like frankincense and dragon's blood, I give to him quite frequently. Dark spirits and alcohol like whiskey, bourbon. He enjoys vodka as well, I find. Whenever I have vodka in the house, he asks for it. And I also speak this that he does enjoy having the herb burnt for him, not to be ingested by the human, as this is polluting the temple, but to be burnt for him as people in the ancient days did to many.
Hell yeah. What about you, Sander?
Ooh, where should we begin? He goes through stages. So when you are pretty new, you will do your little initiations, then you will be sent off to small little tasks. You will be told to find little sticks of sandalwood, frankincense, and another tricky one that I was told is myrrh. Now, myrrh is very difficult to be found. Usually, if you live in Eastern countries, it's easy to be found. Churches have it; it's sold everywhere. Down here, where I'm at, it's a bleeding struggle. So I had to spend an entire Saturday running around the entire city looking for myrrh. Where myrrh oil, actually, I was asked, not only a stick. I couldn't. There's no sticks, myrrh sticks around here where I am at. Never, like literally, even if you're rich, forget it. There's no sticks of that. It's very rare. So literally, I ended up in a shop and in center town, and the most expensive one I could find wasn't even of good quality because I could smell it and feel it. But I was like, look, there's nothing else, and I've been walking like since morning. It's so about to get dark. I've been spending all day walking. Just let me buy this, and we're good. He was like, okay. It's all about the effort in the end of the day. Because let's be honest, he'll tell you to go do it, but he don't really give a shit about the oil, man. It's about the effort you're putting in. Because at the end of the day, the oil itself is not gonna offer him anything he doesn't have or something that he cares about. It's just an oil, but it's the effort behind the quest that brings the reward of the offering, so to say. It's not really the offering per se, because, like we said, it's just an oil, isn't it? Doesn't mean much. Not really. There's far more better the things to be able to give of higher value to a spirit. But yeah, this one was a little good quest. Then he will require some meats on the occasional. For me, it's always been Saturday for some reason, the day of Saturn. The occasional Saturday, with a very simple earthly method. Carve the sigil with a stick that you will find in a particular area where there is trees. Find one tree, which he will call you. He will tell you that this will be your ritual tree, or to be in my case, he just said go to your tree, because like he will talk to you in ways which are very short, but you will know what he's talking about because you will be thinking in a certain way. So when he was talking to me about the tree, I was like, is that my tree, the ritual tree? He was like, go to your tree. So I never had to ask him which tree are we talking about because there's no numbers of trees, of course. I cannot sniff out trees. So we always knew what we're talking about between us. So that's how to understand the language code of spirits when people start to connect. It's a little bit short, it's a little bit symbolic, but it's going to be related to your way of thinking and perception. So you like it, know it or not, you will always know what they mean or where they're pointing you at. You never really have to wonder too much about what it is or what it is that you should do. They will push that thought into your mind and you'll be like, yeah, I know what it is. I know what I'm
Uh-oh, we lost Sander.
Got a
Sorry.
technical
Yeah.
difficulty.
Okay.
It's back.
No, it's some weird scammer private number called me. I was like, decline. I was like, get the hell out of here. I get them a lot. Yeah. So basically, that's how it kind of works with the language with spirits. Like they will correspond to you in this particular way. Um, Then it's the meats. You will get like a stick, carve your sigil on the ground, leave the meats there, chant his end, whichever end, sorry, end, not end, and you've been given or you go by 3 times and then leave. And then you will be given more rituals, which will be attuning you deeper to the specific currents that you may need to attune to. If it is destined for you, you shall be initiated within the Dathi current to be able to cross the abyss. And if later down the line you work closer with Lord Lucifer, you will be able to attune to different spirits such as Seth or Azazel or what have you, depending who corresponds to your attributes, to not only cross the abyss, but you will also be able to go into the tunnels of Seth. These are all huge crossings which will take years. Okay, this is not a once off. There is no such thing as a quick once off. Once you initiate an alchemical operation, it goes on for the duration of its time, which is different according to person. In my case, it took about 5 damn years. So if you think you can get into this and get some quick eeny weeny hocus pocus result, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. You can have all the beautiful dreams you want in your life. You can have the beautiful common dream of building a house, like most people do. Everybody desires a home. Who doesn't love a happy, warm home, a welcoming home to call their own? That home will not be built in a day. That home will not be built upon the shoulders of others. You will have to either put your own sweat and blood within that home, or you must merit years beforehand to acquire the wealth to be put within that home, so you can pay others so they can put their own sweat and blood within that home. Whichever method you go with, each and every one of them will be lengthy. So none of you can make a home up on the ground like a penis, excuse me. So things take time. So exactly with these empowerment and transformations. And then later on, when to the king's current, after you have passed his test, you will receive the deeper knowledge and the deeper which you have to give back uh, in correspondence that you are worthy of, and you have passed the test. And these will manifest with space and your professional space as well in your own. These will be situations which you will have to correspond in a way which would be suitable to what it is that you at least given yourself authority to be applied for. So, and of course, he will be bringing situations, people towards you within your personal life or workplace, which you will have to connect with and make a connection with, which will be able to bring you even further within your professional career, as far as career goes. Because where alchemical transformation is found, these aspects are endless, these things are endless. So working with Belial would be better a long-term thing to see rather than a short, quick earning thing.
Fuck. I really agree with the offering. It's really the gesture that matters, right? So something that you could be sitting down, evoking him, and just in your gratitude. That's a big offer. I think the most important thing to any spirit, because time is not something that you can get back, right? So time is really valuable in my experience. I know personally for me, when I first started working with Belial, him confidence, right? Uh, that was, and the way that it manifests wasn't a way that I expected. Right? He told me for me to be confident, I had to get in my mind how many, and that was everything to get past. I started revealing myself things that I was at, that I was good at, and then things that I didn't. Right? And he does really work like it's right? Fucking up. I'll tell you, fucking up. Just recently, my apartment was really messy. He came through, when I was or something, and he basically like clean your shit up. Like if your apartment is messy, your life is side is messy, and it's not acceptable. Right? I've also worked with him.
Very military style.
Yes, very military style. One thing that fuck, I lost my train of thought. Curse words. Yeah, I work with Belial pretty closely on this. And really, there's really not much, since he's in charge of everything on the earth, everything under the earth. There's not really much that he can't do. I did a curse on somebody to remove them from my life, right? And I left it broad because I didn't know how it affected. As long as I did not have to see or hear about this person and culture. And I've got some one-off stories. I know. I'm going to share this. We talked about it earlier, and I shared it in the group. But I did it. I did it with somebody else, right? And I didn't know that was terrible. So they go home. They have a nightmare where I was possessed, and I was in front of my altar, was shooting up 6 feet in the air, and I was speaking in a tone. When she was telling me about this nightmare, on the inside, I was so cool. Because to manifest as myself and free was just super big honor. But I wanted to make it with him, so I connected with him, and I was like, "Why did you call this nightmare?" He was all said to me was scared. Tell her to get the fuck out of my rituals. And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." What last thing on to we talked about when you offer blood or sexual fluids to an entity, they are connected to you for life, right? So it's a pretty big commitment to do that. Even if you can't perceive them, they are there. Right? So carefully consider who you want to offer blood to. Because blood is the vision of all life. And it has us as spiritual beings manifest in physical bodies. Our blood, just a single drop, carries a ton of energy. So yeah, I think we've hit good notes here. So if you guys have anything else to add before we wrap it up.
Just a tiny note when it comes to blood.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, see, the blood does tie you infinitely to a spirit long term. So be careful who you give it to. And if you're gonna look for a patron to begin with or an initiator, just summon them first and give them an earthly offering. Give some whiskey, some fruits, give something nice and incense, what have you, or a combination of these. Don't merely run out there and give blood to everyone, because you don't know if some spirits will want that offering to begin with. So you may end up in difficulties giving these offerings, which nobody even asked you for to begin with. You know what I mean? We all appreciate gifts, but at the end of the day, receiving gifts from strangers randomly knocking on your door is not always something that's desired by everyone. Some people would gladly just gain anything from strangers and knock on their door and offer them. Others would just come up with a shotgun. So be careful who you run around trying to spray blood at. And when you get to a specific level where you're a little bit level where you put it.
Oh, we lost him again.
Yeah, he's got another scam caller.
I know, right? Anton, did you have anything else to add?
No, I've got nothing else to add.
Okay, cool. Sandra, did you
He's
want to
back.
finish that?
Fucking scammers, man. They won't stop calling, man. I don't want the 100,000 from the Nigerian prince, man. Get out of here.
Calling about your car's extended warranty.
Something like this. Oh, yeah. So basically, when you get at the advanced level, they really mean it. They really want to talk to me, these lads, I swear. Yeah, it will get to a part, for me at least personally, where the blood is not even necessary anymore, but other kinds of offerings and fluids will be required, which is strange because blood you would think blood would be the main source, but then it switches up to different kinds of offerings. I mean, it could either be the particular attributes that you decided upon a pact. It could be more of the sexual fluids, or it could be a specific devotion. So, blood will stop being the main source of necessity, in the long term when you get to the advanced levels after that. Then more attributes and more criteria will be brought within the so-called offerings. So, there are levels of offerings amongst the spirits, actually, and it depends upon time and progress that you go through. So it's not all the same and one and for all. The generic stuff that you see on YouTube is mostly, well, let's call it crap, but somewhat accurate, yeah, but it's mostly beginner orientated. So the more you progress, the more things change. It's not like how you think in a generic way. There's no such thing as a generic way within this. Things will always alter and change the more you progress.
Awesome. I think that is a great spot to end today's video. So thank you guys for joining us. A link to the pathwork will be left in the bio. Again, thank you guys, and have a blessed day or night.
Rise and conquer.